Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
1997, AKAPAD. That's the year we're going back to. Chasing Amy, just coming out. My sister, who always looked out for me, she was a student at Rutgers, I think. Maybe Rutgers, maybe Rowan, maybe it was Rutgers. I forget. But Kevin Smith comes out. We go to, auditorium. Kevin Smith comes out and, does a pretty good bit. Opening act to his own movie. So we're there for a showing of Chasing Amy. And he comes out and he runs off a couple other schools that he's been to, and he goes, what is it about the best schools being in the crappiest neighborhoods? And I guess at this point, right, I'm realizing it is Rutgers, because Rutgers is in North Philly, and well, little has changed in North Philly since 97. And then we watch a insanely long version of Chasing Amy, and I'm just taken aback. At this point, I had never seen Mallrats. I have never seen Clerks, and it would be, I believe, like later this year for my birthday, and I might be getting some of this, but yeah, I'm looking back. I might be getting some of this incorrect, but I guess, I don't know, like high school sweetheart, maybe. She had a boyfriend the whole time, but this girl that was super into me in high school, good-looking chick. Come on, guys, good-looking girl. For my birthday, she buys me Clerks from Suncoast Video, and Clerks was like a $35 VHS at the time. This is still 90s independent movies, so like Dragon Ball Z, any anime, any manga. Suncoast even had like a Playboy Penthouse section, but those were like your 30, 40, 50, even, I mean, I remember some Japanese animation being $80 in these like rock hard clamshells at Suncoast Video. But she spends the money, and gets it. And I just remember, like, things were like so wild with her, like towards the end, that I threw away. Like, I think that the VHS was just unwrapped or wrapped, and I just never opened it, threw it out. But then later, like, bought it. I bought it with my own money. That's a way to show her and deal with that. So I was a little bit slow to this like introduction to Kevin Smith. 94 Clerks, 95 Mallrats, 97 Chasing Amy. But I'm in Rutgers, and Kevin Smith's up there, and I'm just in awe. Like, just being that young, being with around like a filmmaker like that, packed auditorium. And the version of Chasing Amy that I saw during that time, I have yet to see it again. And I know he's made comments. I know there's been like Criterion Collection drops, but there's still like scenes and an extended dialogue. And at Barnes and Noble, because it was a little bit of a thing back then, you could buy movie scripts, and I had the Chasing Amy book. It was just like a printed movie script. I had that, Usual Suspects at the time. There was a little bit of a go-to stack that Barnes & Noble and Borders would always have. And that was a little bit of my introduction into this world that he built. And it's all there in Chasing Amy. Now, later, there's a couple of independent guys in the background of Chasing Amy, because basically the film is bookended by comic book conventions. Through my independent comic book career, I worked for multiple individuals that are there on screen in the background of Chasing Amy. I'm not particularly proud of that, by the way. I just want to give you guys an idea of who I was younger. Like, these are the things I pursued. Now I'm pursuing the film criticism dominance. So look out. So recently, yeah, I just re-engaged, re-explored Chasing Amy, and it was everything I remembered. Now, I did that very similarly with Mallrats, and a lot. The key turn for me with Mallrats, I'm just like, this movie is absolute genius. It is so ballsy. He swings for the fences. Chasing Amy later became this progressive movie. Like, it became a little bit of a anthem for a movement. And I know some of you out there, you may not see eye to eye on that, or think it's just not important or self-important or overblown. And back then, Smith was one fat mother effer. So maybe Kevin Smith was overblown. But no, Chasing Amy became a little bit of an anthem. There's a documentary called Chasing Amy that highlights a lot of this. I recommend you guys check that out. Because we want to get as much context around these films as possible. For you, and if you're exploring Chasing Amy, like, this podcast will add context around the time Chasing Amy came out. So you would have this air around Kevin Smith like a year later, because we would get Good Will Hunting, and Smith was like a story guy for that. And immediately after Ben Affleck and Matt Damon win the Oscar, they all thanked Kevin Smith, and everyone knew Kevin Smith worked on that script and Kevin Smith worked on that story, and you guys robbed Kevin Smith of an Oscar moment. And there was nothing Kevin Smith could do wrong, but you do see cracks in his capability, what he can do. I think a lot of Kevin Smith's material, what he writes, is elevated by the performers. The performers really they transform his words. They make it into, they speak into existence. They make it so. The girl from this movie, right? Like, it I always forget, right? It's Joey Lawrence. This is the girl from Chasing Amy. Let me see. Excuse me, guys. I have a bad tickle in my... Yeah. Joey Lauren Adams. So I'm watching this, and my fiance's like, who is that? That girl's so annoying. I never thought she was annoying. I never felt her voice was odd. For me, I'm like, it's an act, right? Like, she's already a character with that voice. Not like Gilbert Godfrey or like Pee Wee Herman. Like, and I like actors like that. I like actors that part of their performance is who they are. And for Joey Lauren Adams, never bothered me. I thought it was there. Always felt Jason Lee, Ben Affleck in this movie, 100% there. I completely forgot about Kevin Smith's speech at the end when he reveals what Chasing Amy is. That is like heartbreaking in there. And like, looking back, again, going back to that Clerks VHS story I told you guys earlier. Right, like, maybe I'm always chasing that girl. I think some of that is true, but I think through like the course of relationships, you hone and you whittle and you sculpt, and a lot of this is like your instincts and your perception and the way how you view the world, and you can see if other people fit into that worldview relatively quickly. Right, so Chasing Amy, the point of Chasing Amy is you never let that one go. You approach all love seriously the same way. That's advice I echoed to other people as time has marched on for me. I always said, for first time you fall in love, marry that girl. But like, make sure she's solid. Yeah, and then like Kevin Smith would go on, kind of like, I remember him announcing his like retirement, but then coming back and making movies and making like NFT movies. I don't know too much of what he's doing now, and I know I mentioned that in the Mallrats podcast, but I did catch up on the two Jay and Silent Bob movies, and I do like what he's able to do with those two characters, because I guess he owns them, right? I guess he some of the other characters in the other movies I found out later can't exactly use it, all that stuff. Now, what's Chasing Amy now looking back? Well, that's the weird thing, because a lot of the points back then, they were poignant and they were powerful points about a sexualized world, or expressing yourself sexually, and just being kids and figuring things out. And Kevin Smith is so good with those words and those moments. The LBGTQ, or the gay stuff. Yeah, I mean, a lot of those arguments and discussions are in the everyday vernacular, everyday culture. So the movie seems relevant. That's the wild thing. But there's so much other noise that say the same things now. It seems meaningless. So a lot of times when we watch Chasing Amy, we have to transport ourselves. And it doesn't mean you have to agree or disagree. But you go into a film like Chasing Amy and you be a good audience member. And you sit down and you put yourself in the place that movie came out. You do that the best way possible, the best way you can figure it out. Because if you don't approach it sometimes like that, you rob the experience. You rob yourself of the experience. So it's important. But AKAPAD, I don't know. I just recently watched this movie randomly, and I just felt a little inspired to bring it to you guys, because it brought back so many memories for me. And isn't that what we do here, right? Like, isn't that what film buffing is all about? AKAPADers, I love you guys. Rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.